Hi, it's Mike Thornton from Production Expert, and in this video we're going to take a look at the new features in iZotope RX10 and RX10 Advanced and see how they work and what they can do. iZotope introduced Repair Assistant in RX7, and now with the release of RX10, iZotope has taken the opportunity to completely redesign the Audio Restoration Assistant from the ground up with new analysis, processing and a streamlined user interface. Even better, there's a new plugin version, so for the first time you can harness iZotope's AI tool from within your favourite DAW. So let's jump into Pro Tools and take the plugin version of the Repair Assistant for a spin. Here is a typical example of a recording produced on a consumer's laptop using the internal microphone. This is a test recording using a conventional consumer laptop to see how well RX10's Repair Assistant can improve the quality of this recording. In Pro Tools, we'll find the Repair Assistant plugin in the Audio Suite menu, Noise Reduction, and there you can see RX10 Repair Assistant. So here we have the Audio Suite version, and the first thing you'll notice that it's completely redesigned from the version previous, and we've got a section here where we can tell RX what type of material we're going to be processing. So we've got a voice mode, we've got a musical mode, we've got a percussion mode, and we've got a sound effects mode. Now, as you heard, the audio that we're going to be using now is some speech, so we'll select the voice option. And as I'm in Pro Tools, all I need to do is simply press the Learn button. Once I do that, we can see that the Repair Assistant is starting to analyse the material, and up comes a set of results. So let's simply take a quick listen to see what it's already come up with. This is a test recording using a conventional consumer laptop to see how well RX10's Repair Assistant can improve the quality of this recording. So there's the starter for 10 from the AI engine. But if we're not happy with those settings, then we can change the amount of processing for each module. So let's increase the noise reduction. So we'll just set it playing again. This is a test recording. And then we can just increase a conventional consumer laptop to see how well RX10's Repair Assistant can improve the quality of this recording. This is a test recording using a conventional consumer laptop to see how well RX10's Repair Assistant can improve the quality of this recording. So that's already improved it significantly, just increasing the amount of denoising that's taking place. Now let's see whether we can make some improvements by increasing the amount of de-reverb. This is a test recording using a conventional consumer laptop to see how well RX10's Repair Assistant can improve the quality of this recording. Notice that the GUI shows a frequency-based gain reduction up here, as well as an audio spectrograph of what's going on. Can improve the quality of this recording. And if, for instance, we were to up the amount of de-esser using a conventional consumer laptop, you can see here the gain reduction, the frequency-based gain reduction dropping down on my sibilance. Now obviously that's well over the done, so we'll just run that back down again. And it's also possible using these ear icons to hear what each module is taking away where appropriate. So in the case of the de-reverb, RX10's or the de-esser.
This is to see how well RX10's repair assistant can improve the quality of this recording.
So you can hear that we can make quite a lot of adjustments, identify some issues by listening to what RX is taking away, all without leaving the DAW. So let's jump back into the standalone application and see what the new RX Assistant can do there. As you can see, it looks very similar to the plugin version. So let's click on the Learn button so the assistant can analyze the audio. We're going to use exactly the same example. It takes a few moments to learn it. And there we go. We've got a basic set of settings, so we can hit preview. In fact, we'll increase the buffer a bit.
This is a test recording using a conventional consumer laptop,
and we can increase
to see how well RX10's repair assistant can improve the quality of this recording.
So in this case, the de-reverb hasn't been enabled, so we'll enable that. Back into preview.
This is a test recording using a conventional consumer laptop to see how well RX10's repair assistant can improve
and we
the
can also
quality of this
enable the
recording.
declick module. So not dissimilar to what we have in the plugin version, but there's one really important feature in the standalone version of Repair Assistant that I want to highlight, and this is this open module chain. So all these are effectively the various modules that are in RX, and each set has been selected for the appropriate material. So in the case of voice, we've got this particular set. The other options have different combinations of modules more appropriate to that type of material. So we'll open the module chain, and now we can see how it's doing it, which modules are in which order, and more importantly, the amount of processing. So we can look at the settings. And so we can see what the de-hum module is doing. So these are the settings that the AI engine determined were necessary for this particular clip. Or we can look at the voice denoise module. And so we can see these settings. And of course, now we're in module chain mode. We could go in and adjust these settings using the UI that experienced RX users are fully accustomed to. So that's the new Repair Assistant, which is available in RX Elements, RX10 Standard and RX10 Advanced. Next, we're going to look at a brand new feature for RX10, text navigation. Imagine you've got an interview and you want to better jump to a particular word. Or maybe you've got a recording with multiple speakers, podcast recording where everybody's on the same track. It's not multi-track. And you want to be able to process everything one person says, but not impact the other speakers with that processing. Now, these tasks are what text navigation and multiple speaker detection have been designed to assist with. So let's see how they work. So down the bottom here, we've got two new icons. We've got the option to show or hide the text navigation word lane and the option to show and hide the text navigation pane. As soon as we enable the text navigation word lane, what will happen is it starts to analyze the speech, and you can start to see that words are appearing up here. And also, if we click on this logo here, you can see the process. So it's already done the transcription. It's now going through the audio, checking and identifying which speakers are which. Now that, bear in mind, the multiple speakers option is an RX10 Advanced only. You get the speech track, as it were, in RX10, but if you want to identify the individual speakers, then you do need RX10 Advanced. And you can see what's happened is it's given each speaker their own unique colour. So now if we enable the text navigation pane, you can see now on the left hand side we've got two speakers, and if we just click on, say, speaker 2, it now highlights everything that speaker 2 said. If I wanted to treat the audio for just that speaker, I've now got all those segments highlighted, and we can go in, choose a module, and make that processing just to the areas that are highlighted. You can also use the search facility up here. So if we go and search for the word listen, there we have 3 instances. So if I just click on this, you can start to see why it's the navigation pane. And then if I hit play, we can hear from that word.
Listen to them then, Roger. Just
we go to this one.
listen.
And then this last one
Like, oh,
is actually not listen. It's the word like. But see what happens when I zoom in here. You can see that once we zoom in, it identifies where it thinks each word is on the timeline. And there is the word like,
oh,
which isn't like, it's listen. But the good thing is we can now edit that. So if I click on the word like, I can now type listen. And now that's corrected. So let's just listen on from here.
like, oh God, is that good? And then after doing it for 10 years, you're like, I know that's fine. I know exactly what that's going to do in stereo. I don't even need to listen to it anymore.
You can hear that the transcription isn't that clever. And in this case, there would need to be a lot of corrections applied before the text navigation would be useful, shall we say. In addition, it's not been able to tell the difference between Graham Kirkman's Scottish accent and my Northern English accent. It considers us as one person. It has correctly identified Roger Guerin, who's the other speaker in this recording from a Production Expert podcast, but it clearly can't tell the difference between my Northern English accent and Graham's Scottish accent. But once you read the manual, iZotope does actually state that this feature is optimized for American English, and that accuracy may vary if there is a noticeable background noise or a speaker has a non-American accent. The next new feature in RX10 that I want to highlight is the adaptive mode that is now in the dynamic dehum module, which means you don't even need to use the learn option. It will adapt as it goes. And that's really great for audio where, say, the hum or whatever it is varies in pitch. Now, you might remember in our RX9 test, we used a clip of some PA feedback and used the dynamic mode. We were able to pretty well get rid of the feedback. Because the pitch of the feedback changed slightly, it wasn't absolutely perfect. But what happens if we use the adaptive mode? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use the normal dynamic mode. So I'll need to learn the audio. So I'm going to highlight where the feedback is and hit learn. So now it's analysed that and put some notches in. I've chosen to adjust these so that it's only going to process the areas of audio where that feedback was. So now what we can do is if we just highlight here, so we just hit bypass and then play that in preview.
In fact, I hope you're thriving, you know?
So that was the problem. So we'll take bypass off, preview again.
In fact, I hope you're thriving, you know? But, you know, flourishing is...
So you can hear there's just a little bit of the feedback left. So what happens if we use the adaptive mode now? All I've done is enable the adaptive mode, and I'm going to hit preview.
In fact, I hope you're thriving. You know? But, you know, flourishing.
And there we go, completely gone. Spectral Recovery was introduced in RX8 Advanced, and now in RX10 Advanced, it has been completely redesigned with a new interface and the ability to add missing lower frequencies, as well as improving the quality of resynthesizing the upper frequencies. Now, RX8 and RX9 users will also notice that most of the controls have gone from this module. All we have now are these frequency cutoff controls and gain controls for the low frequency and the high frequency resynthesis. Now here's an example of a recording using a popular voice over IP application that's somewhat mangled the audio. This is a test recording using a popular voice over IP application to see how iZotope RX10 uses spectral patching to improve the quality of this recording. So let's see what we can do with the new Spectral Recovery module. As this has suffered a lot of data compression, I'm going to enable the spectral patching option before I hit the Learn button. So now we're going to get the AI to analyze it, and now we've got an initial set of settings. And so now if we use preview, we can take a listen. This is a test recording using a popular voice over IP application. Now have a listen what happens as I increase the low frequency cutoff. RX10 uses spectral patching to improve the quality of this recording. You can hear that the low end of my voice is enhanced. Now obviously it's quite easy to overdo that, but you can hear the improvement. Now what about the high frequency? We've got a gain control, so we can start to increase. This is a test recording. The high frequency, popular voice over IP application, and again it just crispens up the top end, which is sorely needed, because as you can see here from the spectrogram, there really isn't anything much beyond 10K. So once we're happy with that, we can render it. And now you can see what's happened to the spectrogram. We've got audio all the way up to 20K now at the top end, and we've got this synthesized low frequency audio improving the low end of my voice. The last improvement that iZotope has brought to RX10 that I want to feature in this video is how it handles feathering around the edges of a selection. So if we make a selection up here with the lasso tool, and then we cut that out, you can see that it's pretty well a hard cut. So we'll just undo that. And if I now go in here and select just the feathering, both from a time point of view, so we can like have half a second time-based crossfade if you like, and then the frequency, we can actually set it to be something like an octave. So now if I make a selection and we cut it, you can see that there's effectively a really nice crossfade, both in terms of the time and the frequency. And so we can adjust that, and it means that if you are going in to highlight particular segments, you can do effectively the same sort of thing that we would do on recordings of a crossfade, but we do a crossfade both from a time point of view and a frequency point of view. And that's it. If you want to know what I think about RX10, then do check out the full article on Production Expert. I'll see you again soon.